right at the height of Antifa and Black Lives Matters, and I stood my ground. I really thought there was going to be a physical fight, and I stood my ground. I didn't have a mask to put on anyways, and I actually videotaped that encounter, but then I realized it would do no justice to put that on the internet, because truth is, it was ugly. It was ugly. I didn't do anything inappropriate, but I just don't see how that would how it would serve the purpose for me to put that on the internet. Nonetheless, but one thing that in June of this year, our governor, as you know, especially Californians, he finally dropped his unlawful mandate of wearing masks in public in all places, and now he's reduced it to only medical facilities or hospitals. Unless if you go to a medical facility or a hospital, you still have to wear a mask. That's a mandate by our left-wing governor, who's been seen not wearing a mask while he's drinking wine and having fine food at restaurants during the quote-unquote pandemic. So today was that day where I would put that to a test. What am I going to do? I actually had a medical appointment today with my cardiologist, and knowing that the state requires the governor, it's not a law, the governor is requiring medical facilities to still demand masks for everybody inside the facilities. What am I going to do? So I prayed. I was in the parking lot at 7:45 and prayed for 15 minutes all the way to 0800, knowing that my appointment was at 08:15. And I prayed that the Lord would convict me, reveal any pride in my heart regarding this issue, and I was not convicted. I felt truly compelled that this was principle, fighting for principles and freedom and liberty, and that pride had nothing to do with it. So I entered the main entrance on the backside of the medical clinic, and sure enough, there's a long table inside, very nice lady, with taking temperatures and telling people to wear a mask, and everybody's complying. And I stood there, and it was my turn. She says, "Sir, you have to put on a mask. Here's a mask." And I says, "I'm not going to wear a mask, ma'am. I'm not. I have an appointment with my cardiologist. I need some heart meds. I need him to give me some new heart medication as a prescription, and I have to have this appointment. I'm not wearing a mask." And she says, "Well, then you can wear a face shield." So she pulls a face shield out of a box, and I told her, "Ma'am, I'm not going to wear that." Now, I'm going to show you this video. But I'm not going to show you all of it. For one, the whole video is 6 minutes long. I actually hit record before I entered the building, and I didn't stop the video camera, which was a cell phone in this pocket, until after I left the building. And I'm going to always save that. That way, if they ever accuse me of being inappropriate or rude or obnoxious or unchristlike, I can always show them the video. But I am going to show you a 60-second snip out of the video. Only 60 seconds, and that's the part of the contact I had with management. And the reason why I'm not going to show you the other part, number one, due to the length, and number two, out of respect for other patients, I don't want to reveal their identities, or I could blur out their faces, but it's a lot of work to edit out, to blur out all the faces. So I'm only going to show you the videotape and encounter I had with the manager. But the lady at the entrance, she was respectful, but she says, "I'm going to have to call management." And so I stood inside the lobby while she called management. About 3-4 minutes later, management arrived, and then there comes, and you're going to see this video. You're going to see what happened. I stood my ground. I don't feel any of it was pride. It's not a win-win situation. I guess some people will say it's a win-win. I think it's a win-lose. I lost my appointment. And I also gave the manager a tract, and gave the girl a gospel tract, because that's what Christians' primary purpose is giving the gospel out, not being advocates against mass tyranny, although that is part of my life now. But and I even left a $20 bill, although this is not the register, but the copay for this appointment is $20. And so being a man on my word, I kept my appointment, and I even paid my copay. And she says, "Well, we can't take this $20 here." I left it on the table anyways and told them, and then throw in the trash. I'm documented paying my copay and making my appointment as I promised. So anyways, the lady, here's what happened. I believe that there is a sexual component to this mask phenomenon. Now, I don't believe that these two ladies, the lady checking temperatures and demanding masks, I have no doubt that she was not a feminist, nor was she sexist in her asking me as a man to wear a mask, and nor was the manager. However, I have seen some incidents where I believe that there's a lot of feminism involved, where women are literally finding joy in telling men to cover up, cover your face, put a face diaper on, put a mask on. You got to cover your face, And because recently I was at a California state park to launch my boat in a lake and go fishing, and the state park ranger, which is a peace officer, she was very demanding, in a very authoritative tone and very condescending, told me that she won't talk to me unless I quote unquote cover your face. And it was clear that this woman was most likely a feminist, and that she just found joy in making men cover their faces and making men bow down and submit to feminists. And so I do believe that there is a sexual component to this mask phenomenon, though I didn't see it inside today's medical clinic, where feminists are actually trying to emasculate men. Well, what happened when I was talking to the manager, as you're about to see in this video, was she said a trigger word. She called me ma'am, M-A-M. Now, I didn't go off on her, but I did correct her, and she did apologize. I absolutely believe that she really did make a mistake by calling me man. But I seized that opportunity to also resist wearing a mask from the angle of being emasculated, where there is a masculinity crisis in America and a lack of biblical manhood, where men are not willing to stand up for rights, I shouldn't say rights, but for our freedom and our liberty, and so forth. So, watch this very short 60-second video, and then we'll close up afterwards. Hi.
How are you today?
Well, I'm just very respectfully saying I'm not going to wear a mask or a face shield.
Yeah, I understand, but very respectfully, we're going to have to tell you that unfortunately you can't be in the building.
Okay, all right. You want to go ahead and cancel my appointment then, or it's at 8:15?
I'll just have you walk out and give the office a call.
Okay, and your name is?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. Yes,
right.
sir. Sorry.
And that's for you. Yeah, I'm not a ma'am.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's actually, one of the problems with America is a lack of biblical masculinity, that men are actually allowing women to tell them to put a diaper on their face. And it's insulting. And the truth is medical science has proven that it doesn't work. All right, there you have it, folks. Denied my appointment. I didn't get my prescription refilled. He's not going to be able to monitor my heart or check my pacemaker to authorize more medications that I need. And or at least another refill for a prescription that I had that I can no longer acquire. Now, is it a win-win situation? And I think I kind of lost on that one, didn't I? But that's okay. As far as principles are concerned, I took a stand. Because as soon as I left the building, I did call the department, Department of Cardiology, and told them, hey, I've got an appointment in like 2 minutes. And I'm being denied access into the building because I'm not wearing a mask and because I refuse to wear a mask or a face shield. The lady I talked to was very, very sweet, very polite, but she did say, but sir, I did ask her, when are you guys going to quit demanding patients from wearing face masks? I understand that employees have to, because if your employer says you have to as an employee. But when are you going to quit demanding patients to wear face masks? And she said, but sir, it's the law. I politely corrected her and told her, no, it's not the law. It's a CDC requirement. It's actually not even that anymore. It's now Governor Gavin Newsom's auditory mandate that he says patients should wear masks inside hospitals and medical facilities. So it's not even law. As I explained to her on the phone, it has not been signed by law by our California state legislators. It has not passed or California State Senate or California State Assembly. It has not been signed into law by our governor. It's just a verbal demand he has. And she actually was so polite. I let her know that I did leave my $20 on the table down there, even though when they refused payment for the copay. And she actually tended to believe me, to side with me. She actually, I don't want to get her in trouble, but she was trying to not agree with me too much, but she was actually, she said something like, sir, I actually agree with you. She did say something like that, but she was trying to be loyal to her employer. Yeah, I probably lost. I'll have to wait until this mask phenomenon is over with, if it ever is going to be over with, to be able to get my next doctor's appointment. But I would just encourage Christians and all freedom-fighting non-Christians as well to fight this fight against this mask tyranny, especially Christians. Nobody has the authority to tell Christ's beautiful bride to wear a mask, and I've resisted that. Unfortunately, again, March of last year, I think it was March of last year, unfortunately, I wore a mask in church for just for a couple weeks, and quite frankly, I'm ashamed and I'm embarrassed. But I've repented from that. The good news is we always had church. I haven't missed a Lord's Day since we've ever heard of the coronavirus. So stand your ground. When we have women being beat, assaulted, and drug out by their arms and hair for not wearing a mask, we men must stand in defense of the women. We can't let though this clinic was not being sexist, but there are a lot of sexist feminists out there that love to tell men what to do. So stand your ground, and men, especially men, stand your ground. Do not be emasculated by this movement. Until we meet again, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Expositors Podcast. If you like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and share it with others. Until the next episode.